Hi, how are you? Good evening. My name is Mauricio Neuber, and I would like to talk with you a little more about this book, Hypnosis in the Realm of Design. Today, we could speak about the chapter 3, the working with. And this is an important chapter because many people conceive hypnosis as something of control. A therapist or a hypnotherapist that could control the subject's expression, the subject's mind. But despite we recognize the directive character of many hypnotic approaches, we conceive that from a design perspective, this relationship is a partnership relation, and it's required that both subjects work in a strong participation. As we explained in our last meeting, design is not about results. Of course, results are important, but we are much more interested in the emergence, especially the emergence of the subjective process during the inquiry process, during the meeting, the relationship. In the sense, of course, when somebody search for hypnosis, for hypnotherapy, he or she wants to solve a problem. It's natural. But we understand, due to the fact that hypnosis is something very rich and with many potentialities, there are many forms of process that emerge and can create significant possibilities for the subject. So we don't speak only on efficacy, but especially in effectiveness, an integrative process. In this sense, when we speak on hypnosis and design in this kind of partnership, we understand that this partnership work at least in 3 levels. As in the French psychology, one can say that you should be at least 2 to make psychology. Here we can speak that you could be at least 3 to make psychology. The first moment of this partnership is the first attitude, as we explained in our last meeting. It's an attitude very new by humanist psychotherapists, such as Carl Rogers. When we are inviting the subject's soul through feelings to be with us, to be together, or as we could say, the co-motion, to moving together. This is an important moment because when we take in some languages, the word agreement is acordo. It's etymologically the same radical of cardio, which means heart. That means my heart is with your heart. So in the sentimental level, we are together. A second attitude of this process is a kind of dancing, because related to secondness in burst phenomenology, we are speaking about choreography, of course, based on many technician, because hypnosis requires technician, but in a process in which they are moving together, they are dancing together. It's required a lot of discipline, a lot of persistence, especially because you need to transcend the paradoxes, but it's a kind process, a partner process in which both subjects are together. And the third attitude is related to thinking with, making philosophy with. If you think, for example, the word theory came from the Greek theoria, which means in contemplating together. Of course, design has an aesthetical appeal because it's closely related to firstness, and to stay together in contemplating something is also a design attitude. And in this sense, to think together is to transcend some limitation and to construct a kind of think that will permeate this relationship. It is in this sense that Professor Farooq Saif, in his book Design in the Transmodal World, used the term dialogue. And what dialogue means? It's not only the exchange of words. Dialogue goes beyond conversation. Dialogue requires a sentimental basis, a heart basis, and required the consideration of the other subject in his or her alterity. But dialogue goes beyond conversation and the contract moment of the meeting, because it can perdurate, it can maintain after this moment of meeting. And so, for example, when we study some of Erickson's work, we can conceive that after many years, the subjects with whom he had worked still maintain the same semiotic exchanges in their minds. For example, the February man. For example, the girl in the wheelchair that was thinking in suicide when she met Erickson. And after some years of Erickson's intervention with her, she was still maintaining many of the semiotic exchanges they had at that moment of therapy. So dialogue presupposes a semiotic self as a basis, because it's imply the conversation, the semiotic exchange, not only with other subjects, but especially with the semiotic system that inhabit the subject self. Next meeting, we will speak a little more about this book. Bye-bye.